unit for a very short period of time, but was able to take a deeper dive into the device. Starting off with the design, and the very first thing that I noticed, which I didn't really get a chance to notice the first time I held the Note 8, was the weight of the device. I'm not sure why, but it definitely felt like the Note 8 weighed a lot more than phones that I've been using all week, including the S8 Plus. So this isn't a bad thing by any means, but something that I noticed right away. Speaking of the S8 Plus, the Note 8 and the S8 Plus obviously share a very similar design, and some might even say that the Note 8 is just a bigger S8 Plus and with a stylus. While I don't entirely disagree with that sentiment, there is a bit more of the design of the Note 8 that meets the eye. Obviously, the phone is taller and wider than the S8 Plus, but there is something about holding the Note 8 over the S8 that just feels right. I'm not sure if it's the added width that makes the phone feel a bit more flat, even though there are tons of curves all around the Note. It's tough to say, but I prefer this form factor over the S8 Plus. While I do love the bezel-less design that the S8 and S8 Plus and even other flagships that are coming out this year, I'm not a fan of how tall the phone's screens have become. It basically eliminates one-hand usability, and I'm not a fan of the fingerprint sensor location, specifically on the S8 Plus, and was hoping that the Note 8 would bring a welcome change, but unfortunately, Samsung put it right back in the same spot on a phone that's even taller than the last. Now, I did get used to it on the S8 Plus, and I'm sure I can do the same with the Note 8, but I'm still not a fan of this location. Finally, the last thing worth mentioning about the design is, of course, the return of the dedicated and non-reroutable Bixby button. Samsung did announce some cool features that Bixby is learning, but I will have to test that out when I get my own official unit in the coming weeks. I was also unable to test out the camera, and more specifically the new dual camera system, and the interesting take that Samsung took on portrait mode, in which you can edit the background blur during the photo and after you have already taken the photo. I will, however, test out all the camera features in a separate video in the weeks to come, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that video. What I was able to do was get a deeper look at the software, and of course the S Pen and all of its features. Before we dive into the S Pen, let's talk about the overall performance of the device. This really should come at no surprise, but the Note 8 is going to be a beast of a phone. I've experienced very little lag over time with the S8 Plus, and I expect the Note 8 to perform the same. The increase in RAM from 4 to 6 GB should also help. In terms of software changes, not a whole lot is different from the S8 or the S8 Plus. You still have your People's Edge and Edge lighting features, the ability to change your resolution from FHD Plus to WQHD Plus, customize the navigation bars, color, or button layout, customize your device entirely with Samsung Theme Store, and even take more control of your device under advanced features like double press the power button for your camera app and control the notification shade with fingerprint sensor gestures. So if you're new to Samsung phones and you want the ins and outs of the software, you can go ahead and check out my video outlining the S8 Plus software, which we know is actually very similar. I will leave a link in the description down below. Finally, the S Pen is what makes the Note 8 stand out from the crowd, and so it's only right that we go through all of the features that the S Pen is capable of. First off, the design of the S Pen has not changed from its brief life of the Note 7 to the Note 8, but it has changed from the Note 5. Thankfully, you can't damage your phone by putting the S Pen in backwards, and the clicky top is still a thing, and there is a button located towards the tip that can bring up your S Pen menu. You can also customize said S Pen menu under the S Pen settings. The first thing you can do with the S Pen is obviously create a note. Jotting down notes, whether it be for work or even personal lists, can be much more efficient than typing sometimes. And of course, you can also write notes and pin them to your lock screen so you never forget an upcoming task. Smart Select lets you take a screen grab of a specific part of the screen, and you can crop your selection in a few different shapes and sizes. There is also an option to turn your selection into a GIF if necessary. Screen Write will take a screenshot of the entire screen and allow you to instantly write and mark up the image. This is probably one of the most useful things for me, as I find that I take screenshots a lot, and then I love to highlight or point out certain aspects of the image before sending it off to friends or colleagues. Live Message is a new feature to the Note 8 that allows you to handwrite a message with a certain glow or even a sparkle effect and send it off to your contacts. When they receive the message, it will be displayed as if you were writing it out for them in real time. Apple has an extremely similar feature in their Apple Watch and iMessage app. I don't quite see the point of this, and I rarely used it with Apple's iMessage, and so I'm probably not going to use it here, but for those who want it, it is available. Translate is probably going to be the most useful and underrated feature for those worldly travelers and business people. By hovering over any text that you have on your screen, the S Pen will translate the text in real time for you without having to really do anything. There's even a quick option to listen to the pronunciation of the word. Another cool translate feature is the real-time currency conversion. So for this example, I just googled 500 euros and I want to know what that amount would be in US dollars. If I hover over the 500 euros text, it immediately tells me that it's worth about 590 US dollars. You can do this for any of the Samsung supported languages, and it's super useful for those traveling to other countries. Bixby Vision is there and it's a thing, but I'm not sure if I understand the point of it and or if it even works properly. Supposedly with Bixby Vision, you can tap on an image and Bixby should be able to tell you what it is, more information, and potentially where to buy it. It didn't really work for me at all, and it's something I most likely will also never use. For those who don't know, there is a pretty large community of artists in the Pinup app, where you can either color preloaded images on your phone or create your own artwork and share it within the app's social network. Now, I myself personally enjoy the coloring aspect, as I am not an artist by any means. It's a bit tough to color with the S Pen at first, especially while holding the phone in your hand and trying to color, but it's definitely a time-consuming and relatively fun activity that you can do with your Note, and probably even a better option to pass off to your kids to keep them entertained. Magnify turns your S Pen into a magnifying glass, which is awesome for those who might have trouble reading text from sites or emails. You can also magnify photos, which will help uncover the tiniest of details, and is something that will definitely come in handy, I'm sure. Finally, Glance will give you the ability to switch between your apps or your home screen by hovering over the app's box with your S Pen. So by doing so, the app will maximize to full screen and you can use the app normally. Once you're done, the app will automatically minimize back to the square thumbnail in the bottom right corner. You can do this to glance at information and multitask between apps quickly and more efficiently. There are loads of other things your S Pen can accomplish, but these are new features that were carried over from the Note 7 and some that were implemented into the Note 8. All in all, I'm a fan of what the Note 8 brings, but I can understand those who might not feel that there is a difference between this phone and the S8 Plus. It's certainly not worth an upgrade from the S8 Plus, and I can totally understand if some people are apprehensive to buy it, considering that it's going to cost, at minimum, $950 off contract. So unless you really need to have that S Pen and dual camera setup, you might want to take a look at an S8 or S8 Plus if you want to buy a Samsung device. So let me know what you guys think of the Note 8 in the comments down below, and also what you might want to see in future videos covering the Note 8. Of course, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.